It says it's recording, so. Welcome to episode 2 of Press R. I've got to pull my notes back up because I've had to tab over from one to the other. But it looks like today we're going to be covering the 4 days of play-ins. And
4 long days.
they were! They were because, like, I'm not used to getting up at 6:45 in the
Right.
morning. I get up at 8:45, so 2 hours earlier I'm sitting here going like this at work.
And then 6 the last 2 days.
Yeah, I missed game 1 of day
Yeah.
of day 3 because it started at 6 a.m. And like this
I
morning.
thought I saw. I thought I saw because I was on YouTube. I was up and I saw it was live and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, oh, they're probably rebroadcasting. And then I went back and when I started watching at 7 and they were talking about the game before and I was like, okay,
Well, that
they
sucks.
played.
So, oh, I do got to pull up one thing. I don't have who the top tier or who seed 1 is and seed 2 is.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Who did we pick is coming out of each like when we did
well,
last week's?
we had Unicorns of Love coming out over CG,
Right.
but we're not actually out of that. That won't happen till next week.
Right, right.
Um,
We had Splice,
we had Splice. We
Dan
had
One Gaming,
yeah.
and then
I had Hong Kong Attitude. I think you had Hong Kong Attitude
right,
as well.
right, right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
As like the ones coming out into the actual.
Are they all the one seed right now?
I'm
All
trying to
our
find that to find who's got what seed.
CG's one seed, aren't
CG
they?
seed 1,
Yeah, I was
which
gonna
is
say.
different because we predicted Unicorns of Love, but
Yeah,
Unicorns of Love almost didn't make it. It almost was MMM, and
right.
that was something interesting. So I'm trying to find. Maybe it'll be here with the seeds now. Plans. Okay, so it looks like the play in round 2, the top seed 1 was Damwon Gaming, Clutch Gaming, Hong Kong Attitude, and Splice. And it looks like the picks have already been drafted according to this. I guess did I miss that on the thing or did they do that?
Must have
Like
been at the end.
must have been because because apparently, and I feel bad for this. Low Key Gaming got Damwon
Oh
Gaming.
no.
Yeah. Clutch got Royal Youth.
Okay,
Hong
that's
Kong got um Isurus?
it's Risk Gaming. Yeah.
Yeah. And Splice got Unicorns of Love. So the downside of this, like, I didn't think that could happen. That Splice would play Unicorns of Love because they're like within the same area, but apparently
Yeah.
because they're not from the same uh, actual like LEC or whatever it is,
Right.
they
Right.
get to play against each other. So
Hmm.
looking at it, based off of this, I think Clutch can make it out. I don't think Unicorns of Love is going to make it out.
Right.
But that depends on how good Royal Youth plays that day, because Royal Youth really didn't show up until the last game.
Today. Yeah.
Yeah, like
That game and the deciding game or
yeah,
the tiebreaker.
yeah. That was like literally it. It was like what? Like I had Flamingo Esports like dead to
Right.
rights coming into like the actual play in round 2. Nope.
Nope.
So we're gonna cover I guess game or day 1
Sure.
first. Obviously there's some shock picks that happened, and then there were some ones that I was like we kind of like guessed they were gonna happen with like Donger getting
Yeah.
picked, things like that. But Unicorns Love for CG, like I don't understand how this rock paper scissors thing happened, where Unicorns of Love beat CG, but then Mammoth beat Unicorns of Love, and then CG beat Mammoth. Like what? How did this happen? How did that even become to be a thing? And then you look at, I mean, I guess Tristana mid was really good.
Right. I was
Demonte
gonna
playing
say.
Renekton.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand why they went with like weird picks coming into Worlds because they're like, what's everybody else been playing? We got to try and play that over playing our style of League of Legends, and that hurt them in game 1.
I think
Anything
Unicorns wanted to come out and play really strong. So, I mean, No Man's, he played a really great game on Tristana with all the poke and stuff. Like, Renekton was pretty much
shut down the whole game.
nothing. Yeah, nothing.
which really threw me off because I forgot who was in the top lane, but one of the person that was in top had a better lane
It
matchup
was
against Tristana.
Nico.
Yeah,
Wasn't it Nico?
why didn't they lane swap Nico into Tristana and put
No,
Renekton
no,
top?
Nico was on Tristana's team.
Was it?
Nico was on Unicorns of Love's team.
Let's
Pretty sure.
take a look. Game one. Can we view this game? Yeah, so they had Nico, Rek'Sai, Tristana, Donger,
Mm,
and Morgana, right? There was an Akali, Echo, Renekton, and then the lover lane
right.
with Zaya and Rakan. Now, but Akali would have had a better lane against a Tristana anyway, because like you can
Yeah.
negate some of the damage or the damage that Tristana does, and if she rocket jumps forward, you shroud, you just get to poke at her for free.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they didn't swap Renekton to top and have him go into Nico. Because like at least that like he's got the ability to like Nico doesn't really have a huge escape. She can go invisible for a second,
Right. Right.
but it would have been easier for Renekton to slow farm there than it would have been to slow farm in the mid lane.
I think the thing for CG was, I think that first game, Lyra didn't really well played the Echo.
Yeah, Echo.
Echo was the dumbest champion in this first couple days. I mean, maybe they just couldn't play him because I know Damwon picked Echo later on and they won, but the first 3 games, no one could really figure it out, and or four
He
games,
went
yeah,
0 and
no,
4. Echo went 0 and
no one could
4
figure him out.
in this. It's like, but I don't think it was the champion that was the problem because
Right. Oh.
I think the problem was they would set up dives. Echo would throw out his W, and then like just skirt the outside of it, not even pick it up as they went to
Right.
dive. It's like, what? Are we watching Bronze gameplay again? What? I don't understand. How does this happen?
And I think one thing that was disappointing was like Edward kept getting caught out over and over again, and CG never capitalized on that, like at all.
Yeah, like I mean, he was doing the typical bronze silver
Right.
warding, like, oh, my team's in bot side, I'm
Yeah.
gonna walk into top side enemy territory and start throwing wards down, and like 3 people would be there, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
hi, welcome to our jungle. We've got a Grump over here, a couple wolves over there. Blue buff's gonna spawn in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Want to hang out, grab some tea? It's like I didn't understand. Uh, what about
Right.
Splice versus DFM?
I was rooting for DFM.
I
I knew they were
wonder
the
why.
underdog though. They're Japanese, but
But
they
I mean,
played hard though. I think they gave them a run for their money.
I think if DFM had taken any other jungler besides Echo, and what was with
Right.
Dark
Right.
Harvest?
Right.
Hi, I'm Echo. I'm taking Dark Harvest, but I'm not gonna be in a lane every 20 seconds to go get stacks.
Yeah.
Like in that sense, it's like if you take Dark Harvest, that's a greedy rune. It's like you're out for blood, and you're farming the jungle for 15 minutes.
Right.
Like, did you think this was the old Dark Harvest that worked strictly off of jungle camps as well?
I think what kind of hurt Splice too, they let Nar get through for Eevee, and that was like one of his most played champs in Midsummer Split. So,
Yeah.
and then you had the Nocturne pick on mid, which was very interesting with the
It
on Saros.
it was, and I understand why they took it into Rise, but they never really did anything with
Right. Yeah.
Nocturne Echo. Like, I mean, level 6, you a straight bot lane and 4-man die.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you not just like coordinate that? And I mean, it was good on Splice's side to like play passive enough back to where it like really was negated, but it's still like that's something where you just call all 5 people down. You're like, dude, we're gonna place a ward here. You teleport, come in from behind. We're going in, because not only do you pick up the double kill down bot, but you take tower. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way that they can match that aggression
Right.
anywhere else on the map. And I mean, it's like I just think that they didn't do what they could have done to get where they needed to go. And I mean, even in my notes, I was like, I'm pretty sure if they had played more around mid knock early, to where they would have gotten him ahead, to where he
Yeah.
could have got Duskblade earlier and been more of an impact, it would have done better for him.
I think one of the biggest plays that I remember was the Hecarim. So calculated, and he was about to die. Smited the Grump to stall out,
Yeah.
and then got under tower, and then they just collapsed on DFM,
Yeah.
and it was like,
I
I
mean,
mean,
and
that was
that's something that you will never see in lower elo, like that
right.
mentality. It's like, oh crap, I'm gonna be invaded. Let me quickly try and kill this and smite it and get out. It's like he waited. He
Yeah.
knew he was gonna get ulted, and he was like, smite. All right, thank you. He didn't even kill Gromp. He just smited it to
Right.
walk out.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's not a whole lot to really talk about in that game.
Mm-mm.
I want to say
I
like the
think.
next game though, Mammoth versus Unicorns. That game had so many up and down factors in it. Like they let Syndra through,
Yes.
Gangplank is, as well. So not only do you have a CCing burst Syndra, but you've got Gangplank's ult that's just gonna hold you in place for the most part, slow you down, and just you're gonna take damage. So I think the craziest part of that game though was, hey, they have a ward here, we have a pink, they can't see this until we hit it. So they started it, attacked it, and then the second the teleport came in, they all just went and blew him up and went right back to Baron. It's like
Yeah.
genius bait.
I thought out of all the games that day, this one was probably like the most messy game. I mean, there was just fights back and forth, and like people would walk on. Oh, and wasn't it the end? Yeah, the end where they walked on, or they hit the ward. That's what you're talking about
The Baron fight,
with the
yeah.
Baron. Yeah, yeah,
It definitely
and,
like because it's like they didn't hit it and then peel off and wait. They
right.
were killing it. Like when we got to see the replay later, and it's like you see it, they got it down 50% of the
Yeah,
way, saw the teleport coming in behind them, and just
right,
immediately like went and said, "Well, let's just go kill him. What are they gonna do? They
right.
wasted
Yeah,
teleport into us." And the rest of the team, like I don't understand why the call of the teleport was no one else was near
I
Baron.
know, I know. Yeah,
It wasn't
that
even
was
like
the
it's like,
thing.
hey guys, I'm coming in. Go ahead and go in and initiate. It was, hey guys, I'm teleporting in. Hope you get there in time. Well, you didn't.
and
Well, that sucks.
and they were coming from mid to the river.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, by
but
the
they were
time
at
they got there,
second
he was
tier when the
dead.
teleport channel started.
Yeah.
They were nowhere near to back him up. It was just I don't know. Like I definitely think like Mammoth Gaming had its ups, but it had a lot of downs.
Right. Yeah.
Nowhere near as bad as what like I mean when you look at DFM versus IG, like I said, it looks like solo queue lanes. Like it looks like you've literally loaded up League of Legends and said, "Let's go." There
Right.
was no coordination in the champion picks in that. It's like none
And you
of
had
this makes
Echo.
sense. Like you banned out all like the typical solo lane picks and then said,
Right.
"Well, I'm gonna grab this. He's grabbing that. We'll try and play around this." That game, it literally looked again, Dark Harvest on Echo,
Right.
completely useless. If you're not gonna go in and try and get 4 or 5 stacks early on, what is the point of having Dark Harvest? Electrocute is gonna do more damage. Is gonna do you better than anything else you could possibly do. So I wasn't entirely sure why the Dark Harvest pick on Echo at
Well,
all.
I think the big play too of this was they had a big group fight and Rakan came in and Grand Entrance knocked up four of them in the middle fight, and then I think they have Zaya. I want to say
I think
I
so,
know they
yeah.
had Kale, and Zaya just put so much damage on him. It was like, and with the Kale ult, I mean, what are you gonna do? I
Die.
think IG almost came back though.
Yeah,
They started to
because
kind of come back
as I said,
right before that. Yeah.
both them teams did not look like they could compete at a top tier
Right.
level in NA,
Yeah.
Korea, EU, anywhere that there's a top tier team. There was no way they could compete. They would be 0-20 by the end of the split,
Right.
just because they had no way of doing anything. It just kept going little this way, little this way. It just back and forth. It looked
Right.
terrible. As I said, it took way too long and really needs to change. If like any of these teams are gonna hope to make it back next year, they really need to
Yeah.
be more decisive in their decisions.
Or even just go, yeah, and even just going forward, like the rest of this tournament. Like if Damwon wants to actually make it really far, they're gonna have to change up a little bit and be
Well, we haven't
more,
even got to
play more
Damwon
aggressive.
yet. That was Detonation
Oh,
Focus
sorry,
me.
DFM. Sorry.
You're going on the
Never
Korean
mind.
team like, oh, these guys are terrible.
Never mind. DFM's out.
Yeah, DFM's gone. Now I think in Game 5, me and you both had the prediction that Mammoth was gonna beat CG because CG was looking
Right.
weak,
Right.
and 1 HP Baron
Yes,
Steel. Not
I
even
remember
like
that.
the there's just no way in any conceivable game I've ever played does Baron get stolen at 1 HP.
Was Steel
50-50
playing?
smite?
Steel was playing Nocturne. I
No,
thought
that was it was stolen by
by Steel,
Kai'Sa's W.
right?
No, it was
Oh, I thought
stolen
Steel
by
did.
Kai'Sa's W from down the river. It's like she it's like you saw the smite come down, you saw the next auto, it said 1 HP, and in comes
Right.
Kai'Sa's thing, and like, you guys are professional players. Why are you panic smiting? You know your level. You know how much damage your smite's gonna do. It's not like Baron's HP is just a bar and you have to guess. It's written above his head. You know what's gonna happen. You panic smited because you saw them coming. And you're like, and I'll never understand why if you're all 5 in the pit, why do like 3 people peel out and leave 2 people to try and take it? And it's not even like they peel out and go towards where the people are coming from to like slow them down and stop them. They're like,
Right.
let's get out to make sure we have Baron. Well, we lost Baron.
My
That
red,
plan failed.
my red buff will get it. But I think the big thing too was CG had very early game gold from plates because they had double ADC pressure in the side lanes. So Huni got really strong with the Tristana late game.
Well,
And
this is the one thing that like CG should have done game 1.
right.
They played slow and calculated throughout the whole game.
Mhm.
So for it to turn around and have like from them to go from game 1 where they're just like they look like
Right,
they were a bunch
right.
of solo queue players to this, I'm like, why? But at least there was no echo that game.
Yeah.
Finally. Right? And then we've got IG versus Splice. You picked IG, I picked Splice to win. Right?
And Splice.
Splice won. And I mean it's exactly what I would have expected after seeing IG
Right.
play. Like we're talking about like a team that plays against Fnatic and G2. Teams that have played against SKT and things like this, and IG's
Yeah.
just twiddling their thumbs as they play.
I mean,
And
they just completely controlled the map too. I mean,
yeah,
there was not one moment where you thought IG had any map or any,
yeah.
just any control of the map or know where anything is. I mean, Splice just had it all.
Well, Splice did make a couple of mistakes that I would be like, if this was SKT or Fnatic, C9, Team Liquid, RNG, any of those teams, if they had watched
Right.
what was happening with Splice, they would have immediately punished it and turned around and
Yeah.
closed the game out. So Splice has some things to work on, but it's exactly what I would expect from a Splice game that happened there. Not not great, not terrible. And then here we go. Here's the team that you predicted to win some Damwon Gaming
Damn.
versus Royal. Lisa
We
was
knew
picked
the
in.
Turkey team was gonna not be, but you know what? They surprised them. But this game, no.
No, but I mean, did and Damwon was the only one that went 4-0, right?
Right. Yep.
So like, but what do you expect from a Korean team? Like, I mean, these guys eat, sleep, and breathe video games.
Right.
So
I feel like they were really mad that they were in the play-in, so they wanted to make a really big statement with these games, just like don't ever put us in here ever again.
well, beat SKT and
Right.
beat
I mean, you're asking them to beat one of the greatest
But that's the
Korean
thing of it.
teams.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You're in Korea. You're in the
Right.
number 1 place for gaming in sense of like world tournament wins, everything
Yeah.
else. Like there's not a country out there gaming wise that I know of. And at least not in League of Legends.
Right.
SKT's
Right.
the only team that has 3 titles. Samsung Galaxy has a title, right? Invictus Gaming has a title, right? All these are Korean teams.
Yeah.
Like
But
they have
you could tell that though in like their difference from how they played to everybody in the play-ins. Like it was so much further. They were higher up here, and everybody else was kind of like it
right.
wasn't even close.
I think anybody that plays against Damwon Gaming needs to ban Vladimir out.
Oh
Vladimir
yeah.
should
Oh
not
yeah.
be allowed to play.
But he didn't play him in this game, right?
Yeah, he played Vladimir in that game. In the first
In
game of
this
the
game?
yeah, in
Oh,
game
I
1.
thought he played. Yes.
No, if we go back and look at where's it, group D, right?
It was Vlad. Yep, you're right.
Yeah,
It was Vlad.
they played Vlad, Lee Sin, LeBlanc, Kaisa, and Leona, right?
Yeah.
Now, closer looked really good on Kiana, but didn't really do very well for them,
Right.
right? Very, very weird type of gameplay to
I think
watch.
the weird thing was not weird, but Showmaker and Nuguri both took kleptomancy on both of
Yes,
their camps.
yes, they both took kleptomancy because like this is I don't want to
They were
sound
getting
mean.
gold.
I don't no 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 like I want to say that was more of a sign of disrespect than it was
uh,
anything. We don't need phase rush or electrocute
right,
or
right,
any of the things that we would normally pick to beat you in the game. We're gonna take stuff that we're gonna just troll around, and then we're gonna shit on you with it, and you're gonna accept that. And when Rise like Ard into the fountain, and we're slamming these guys
right.
into the fountain, you're like,
No, no, that was the next game. That was against Flamingo. Yeah, when they played Flamingo.
oh yeah, yeah, right, right, right. But I mean, they still,
Because yeah, he played LeBlanc. But still, I mean they. But I feel like that was their strategy through the play-ins. Is okay. We're not gonna win early game. Let's just farm, 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 and get to the end and just shit on people.
but that's a terrible mentality. Like, and this is the thing
Right.
that I've been saying about NA teams and EU teams, and EU's been doing it more now. Of course, there it is. What'd she say? Hang on 1 second, guys. Sorry. Call him. I will pick it up. Okay. So I gotta order pizza later.
So
Oh, by Los, yeah. So the biggest problem that if you've ever watched Worlds, these guys are starting to close games out at 18 minutes. At 18
right.
minutes, it's an 8K gold lead. It's a decisive game throughout everything when it's Korea or China playing. Like, and that's what NA's always had a problem with. They're like, oh, we'll pick these late game scaling champs, play for 55 minutes, and then win one team
Right.
fight and go. Look at any time they've gone up against a Korean team, it's like, you took this, 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 and this. Okay, we'll see you in 5 minutes. We're just gonna crush you.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
like, so the fact that Damwon Gaming has that mentality of we'll
It
farm for
hurt
for
them.
20 minutes and then
Yeah.
go. I mean, granted, it was only what is it, a 30-minute game? Oh no, that was
Hmm.
Flamingo versus them. But yeah, it was 34 minutes against Royal, right?
Yeah.
Like if that was SKT versus them, 18 minutes they'd be knocking on the
Right.
Nexus.
Right.
You
Yeah.
took a Vladimir with kleptomancy? Okay, here we come. It's like, so mentality wise, I didn't understand the thought process. Now, like, I get it if they're like, we're Korean, we're the number 3 team in Korea, so we don't
Right.
need to give you the respect that we would show SKT. But
Right.
like,
Right. And maybe they're trying to hide their champs that they want to play or the gameplay they want to play for later on, so that the good teams don't see what they're. I mean, it could have been strategy. Could have been like we know we can beat these teams with these players. We're
well,
just gonna do this.
but
Are we not?
the mid laner and top laner for Damwon Gaming are both known Vladimir and Rise players.
Uh,
So, well, we know Vladimir's really good on this guy. Bye, band. Like,
but I mean, he does have a. He probably has. They said he has the hugest pool of champs to play with, Nuguri. So we'll see what he brings out later on.
I mean, with the way that the current meta is in League, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I just don't expect them to make it past
Yeah,
group stage. That's the downside of it. I definitely don't think they're gonna make it into quarterfinals. I'm
they're
kind of,
young though, aren't they?
huh?
They're young. They're young.
Yeah,
Nuguri's really young,
yeah. He's like 17 or whatever, right? Like
right?
the youngest
Some
top
really
laner
young,
in League of Legends right
and
now.
they haven't been a team together for very long either. So they're very like,
And that's fair. But I mean, it's like it's your first year of being a team, and you guys are already going to Worlds, but you're treating the play-in stage as if it's
yeah,
just solo queue, and it's like
yeah.
that kind of mentality. I don't know if it's
That's
gonna help
young
them.
people though. That's young people. Cocky as heck.
Uh, I okay, I'll agree with you there. I know everything. I'm good. I'm fine.
Right, right, right.
I'm sad that Flamingos didn't make it out. Like they were, I was hoping for them to go ahead and make it somewhere, but not so much. All right, so how about MG versus HKA?
I think we both said HKA.
We
One
did.
sec.
We both said HKA, but
You
my
know what's
notes on this
funny?
game. What?
Eminem was playing this game. He did not play a whole nother game.
No, no,
This
that
was
is.
his one shining moment, and that was it. Unified played the rest of the games. I mean, poor guy.
It's kind of funny though, cause like my notes on this game are draft seems legit, very boring game,
Yeah,
needs to improve on all fronts. Cause what was it? I think like HKA they were ahead, but they would like step up. Up, never mind.
right, yeah.
And it was just this like
Safe game on both ends. Yeah,
there's got to be some point where you just say, okay, screw it, pull the trigger, go in and do what needs to be done, and start closing out games. Because a top tier team's gonna be like, oh, you're just gonna sit here and walk forward and then back up. Guess what? We're
yeah.
gonna chase you down and kill you.
But I think Mega Sports they messed up at the end with the Baron because they stalled it out so long.
Hmm.
They were like stalling, taking it, and HK just came in and cleaned them up.
Yeah. You
It was so
like you've
dumb.
got to make, and this is the thing. Like I try and like convey to people in solo queue. It's like you can't waffle.
Yeah,
If you're like if you walk forward then backwards then forward then backwards forward then backwards like you're trying to decide, should I do this, shouldn't I do this, should I do this, shouldn't I do
right.
this. If you're waffling back and forth like that,
Just give it to him.
at that point it's over.
Yeah,
You've
yeah,
second guessed yourself so much that you don't want to fight the fight that's
right.
going on. And it's like I don't understand why people tend to do it. It's like you'll
Yeah.
notice it in bronze, silver, low gold. I've never been in iron to see how iron is, but I can imagine it's worse. Where, especially when people play something like Lee Sin or Rek'Sai or like a really like early game champion, and
Right.
they'll go in, they'll kill red, they'll kill Krugs, they'll grab blue, and then they can't make a decision whether they want to go gank or go farm. So they just walk back and forth for 30 seconds. And it's like you've just wasted almost a minute of time.
Could have killed a whole camp or two.
Yeah, like if you look at lanes and you're like, there's nowhere I can gank, you should immediately just walk to your next camp to kill,
Yeah.
right? But like to stand there and be like, uh
And
I
that's the
don't know.
problem. Like, you don't go in and get it. Well, now the other team is farming up. They're getting items. By the time you get to the late game, it doesn't matter what level you're at. Everybody's full build. Okay.
Yeah.
Like everything's even. It doesn't matter. You got all these turrets. Like nothing. Let's go. Let's fight.
I mean, that's in the late game, but the early game can decide the late game. There might not
Right.
be a late game
Right.
because you're dancing back and forth.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I felt about MG versus HKA. It was just
Snooze
so
fest.
Damwon versus FLA. It's just so disrespectful. They
Yeah.
did Baron in 5 seconds.
So disrespectful. That was crazy. Yeah, the 5 second Baron. I mean, that was so much damage. They didn't even have time to walk over and even look to see that they had started it
Yeah, it was
because he
gone.
was down.
It was
Yeah.
Showmaker on Necton. It's not even fair to watch. It's not even like you watch it and you're like, I've gone blind. The hell just happened?
There was one fight in the jungle where he 1v3'd him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the rest of the team was there, but three of them collapsed on him, and he still came out
I've
alive.
got Sphere Sojin. Thanks for coming in to my
Right.
dominance and taking free damage. I mean, like that's the one champion like this. I've always said never stack. You should never stack on somebody. And when you walk into a Renekton and you don't have Morello's or Executioner's Calling, Mortal Reminder, if you don't have these items, there's no reason anybody should walk up to Renekton.
Yeah.
He's just,
Right.
hi, stun, thanks for all the HP, slice and dice, and you're dead.
But who do you ban? Do you ban Renekton or do you ban Pantheon? I mean, I like.
So this is, I don't respect Pantheon players because like
I feel like he was the insta ban though, the whole
yeah, I
playing
mean, what did
games.
he make it through? 2 games? And then one
Maybe,
game he made it
yeah,
through, he didn't even really have an impact.
right.
But I don't know, like Like Pantheon, I think when you're playing against a team that can abuse Renekton the right way, Renekton needs to go.
Right.
But it's also Damn One Gaming, so you also got to get rid of Vlad and Rise. Well, there's our three
Right. Right.
bans.
Yeah.
I definitely
Did
think
he have?
though they
Did he
had
have Vlad
Talia.
in this?
No, no, I don't. No, they didn't have that on that game. That was a Rise Renekton Talia, Pike and Kaisa on their team.
Oh, so he was the rise.
Top lane was, yeah.
Yeah.
New
No, but
Green?
I didn't think he really cared. Was he?
New
Or was
Green?
it Showmaker?
No, Showmaker was on Rise. Or was on
Uh,
Renekton.
Renekton. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it's like you look at the damage graphs of that game and things like that, right? Where is it? Let me see statistics. Right? Rise 18k damage to champions. Renekton 20k. Talia 16k. Right? The 8 and O Kaisa
Yeah.
18k. The closest person to them was Aatrox at 14k. Like he now, to be fair, Pike did absolutely nothing that game. He had 2.5k damage to champions. He didn't get R resets. But how do you get R resets when we're necked in 1v3s?
Right.
Like, I mean, there's just so many things like that went wrong for Flamingos in that game.
I think that was one of Canyon's better games, though. Well, at least from the first game, I think he played a lot better that
Oh
game.
yeah, him on Talia was disgusting.
Yeah.
He had perfectly timed.
Passing was better. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a Talia in the jungle. She gets to ride next to walls and get what 30% increased
Right.
movement speed or something like that. It's like, hi, I've cleared every camp. I'm already in top lane. But MG versus LK,
Let's not even.
yeah, there's nothing really to discuss there.
The
It was
picks were terrible. I mean, it was like
typical
solo
solo
queue.
game, nothing.
Yeah.
Typical solo queue game, nothing impressive. Couple of cool plays, but still slow paced. And for picking Lee Sin, he had
Right.
no ganks prior to like 8 minutes into the game. It's like
Yeah.
you're already almost level 6, and you've not been in a single lane. Like this is the one thing that I can't understand from that side of things. Is like if you're going to pick Lee Sin, shouldn't your players be like, okay, let's let the lanes push
Right.
to us so we have a reason to
That,
have Lee
that
Sin in
game.
our game?
Yeah.
And it's like, but no, they just kind of like, well, we'll just keep pushing and we'll put Lee Sin in the jungle for no reason. Like if you're gonna do that, grab a Master Yi or something so he can just sweep farm till 6.
Yeah.
You're hard pushing, the enemy jungler's not really doing anything to punish your hard push. It's just hi. Like at that point, you take something that like realistically can't do anything prior to level 6 and put that in the jungle. But I don't know. MG versus LK, not that good. Royal versus Flamingos. Karthus was useless. Hi, we took a Karthus jungle and yeah, we did nothing. And you gave
What the
BRTT Draven.
heck? Yeah.
You gave
What
Draven
the heck?
to the #1 Draven player in the world. Like, there's no one that competes.
But you got to talk about the Lee Sin because he pretty much, I mean, crapped on him. Right? I mean, close it. Wait, was it Flamingo that had him? Right?
We're talking this. Yeah. No.
No. Royal Youth had
No.
him? No, it was
Flamingos had him.
Flamingo.
Flamingos had
I mean,
Lee Sin.
he basically kept the, what's her name? The girl with the bow that she throws, the circle thing.
But they didn't have
Kiana.
They didn't have Kiana in that game.
I thought they
It was
had Kiana.
Renekton, Karthus,
Oh.
Azir, Kaisa, Nautilus versus Nico, Lee Sin, Zoe, Draven, and Thresh.
Maybe I'm thinking.
I think you're thinking of one of the games
We
that happened
we
today.
saw a lot of Lee Sins after this point because once Echo was gone, it was like, okay, Lee Sin.
Everybody's like, hey, Echo sucks.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think it's Echo the champion. I literally think it's the people playing.
Right.
That was the problem there. That definitely was like the end all be all of what? Let's see. And then there was HKA versus LK. Massive Tristana in that. Finally an Elise pick, but it did absolutely nothing. Syndra bot literally did nothing. LK literally showed up that game. I mean, I thought once HKA had Kiana that the game was game set match, and there was just nothing I could even.
I think I said HKA too, and low key.
Yeah,
I mean, they just.
yeah, we both picked HKA in game 6.
Yeah.
In day 3, I didn't get to see the Unicorns of Love, but versus CG again. But like from what I understand, that dog is staring you down like you owe it money. But like from what I
Pretty fun
understand, like the
dog.
early game was really heavy in favor of CG, and
Right.
then Unicorns of Love just came back
Came
and
back. Yep.
thanks for playing League of Legends. DFM versus Spy. I thought DFM showed up really well. Good Nocturne.
They
Some
did.
good
And you know what?
microplay.
They needed a win. They needed a
They
win.
needed one.
I thought for sure day two, I mean, their day two, they might come back and win. You know, with this game, the first game they played, they had really good macro play. You know, their jungle Nocturne. I thought Nocturne in the jungle was a better pick than Nocturne mid. But I mean, on Ceres, that's a different story. But, you know, I thought in the jungle it was more of an impact to their teams. So, well, at least DFM, sorry.
Because it roamed. It went
Right,
places that made sense.
right.
Whereas, like, before, he would just shove the lane up, go back, and, like, start roaming, and then go, oh, there's nothing to do there, and go back to lane, push it again, do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, the jungle Nocturne could just be like, oh, there's the play, go. So, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about in that game, other than it was just a standard League of Legends game. Unicorns of Love versus Mammoth.
I mean, other than that, they did beat Splice, which was no one expected that.
Yeah, everybody
So
expected Splice to just, like, 4-0.
obliterate him. Yeah. So
But, I
unicorns
mean,
of love.
but there wasn't a whole lot, like, I guess I could give Splice hell for, like, their macro play and everything else in that, because
Right.
it was just bad playing. Hi, Kitty. This is what I get to deal with when I'm at home.
Hi, kitty.
We get to hang out with the cat and talk about League of Legends. Look at him. Aww. So, yeah, I don't understand how Splice like threw themselves to the wolves at that point.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
I
you got
really
anything else
wanted
on that?
UOL to win this. No, not the
UOL
next
versus MMM.
one. Yeah, I really wanted them to win, but you know,
They stalled too much. They
they
had
did.
it. They stalled too much. It was literally like, I mean, Kennen into Renekton was not as good as GP, right? The scaling only works if you play safe for the first 30 minutes of the game, and they didn't. They threw themselves to the wolves. The entire team had CC. He's trying to bite my nose. I don't know why. What did I do to deserve this, kitty? Right? Like, and Kennen getting caught out every other minute.
Was this the longest game of the tournament?
No, I think there was one longer.
Today was day 4.
Yeah.
It was the DFM game, and
Versus ISG.
yeah, that was like super long.
You see this cat? Like the happiness on its face. I can't even record like this is just like it's kitten,
You gotta keep going.
right? So yeah, I don't know. Like I liked the
Yeah.
Ziggs pick in the next game, but
This was the long game. This was
yeah,
the
and
very long game.
Gragas had a very sick first kill. He predicted the flash
Yeah.
perfectly.
And we thought, I mean, at the end, I thought DFM, there was a
All right, bye bye.
slim glimmer of hope that DFM would pull that out because they were behind
I
the whole entire
enjoyed. I think this was actually like even though it was the longest game, I think I enjoyed.
most exciting.
It was the
Yeah,
most exciting game because it literally was. It was a bloodbath the
right.
whole time. It wasn't like, all right, they got 3 kills.
Every fight for objectives. I mean, they had fight for every objective.
Yeah, there was
So
not a we're too far behind. We can't fight this. Everybody was like, they're like, we're all dead even. Let's just fight until somebody
right.
loses. I
And the thing
enjoyed it.
about it was, I felt like both teams made very few mistakes. So it was like whoever capitalized on those mistakes at that whatever time was most important. I mean, they were gonna pull it out at the end, and ISG did it at the end.
That they did. CG versus MMM, which is funny because you picked Mammoth Gaming here, and I picked CG because I'm just like, following the track record of yesterday, rock paper scissors, and the draft fell into CG's hand. You gave Huni Rise.
Right.
What? I mean, like,
Yeah.
granted, you take his Rumble away. You're like, oh, we don't want to see Huni on Rumble because Huni's just gonna win the game on Rumble. But it's like, he's got 3 or 4 champions. You give him Riven, you give him Rise, you give him Rumble.
But I think like
He's
what you said when we were watching, it's like, okay, the first day, North American teams, they're like, second day, they're like, okay, we need to do something different because how we played first game, we're not playing like that again.
but they did it both days. Like, see, this has always been my problem with Clutch Gaming. They're just like we're better at playing a best of 5 series, losing the first 2 games, and then going, oh, we really gotta play now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like what they need to have that mentality at the
Game
start of it
one.
and be like,
Yeah.
let's go win.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why CG and and my note on this, Mammoth Gaming shows that they have no idea how to deal with a hyper carry like Huni. They don't. So
Yeah.
in the sense, if they ever got paired up against SKT or TL
Oh right. Yeah.
or RNG, they're gonna look like bronze players playing against Diamond. It's like, what? Splice versus ISG, Quinn pick into GP, I thought was a good call. Back and forth game for seeding. Like there really wasn't this game really had no
Yeah.
impact. So both teams kind of just and Splice not committing to fights. Like
Yeah.
they would be like, no.
But for as many as mistakes as they made, they still won. That's just ISG sucks.
But that's
Not
like
that.
saying, hey, for your drink of the night, you can either drink piss or acid. Which one you drinking? I mean, it's not like
Yes.
saying that there's not a good choice here. It's
Right.
just like
Right.
tiebreakers for the end of the day. I don't even know how Mammoth Gaming lost so hard to Unicorns. Like this was one of those things where you're like, you kicked the living crap out of them 2 games in a row,
Right.
and
Right.
now it's like you're like, oh.
And then CG. I mean, we were surprised they pulled it out in the end. Thank goodness. I feel like Unicorn Love had the momentum behind them. Had the fans. Everybody was wanting them to pull it out.
Yeah.
And CG just they were able to pull it out. Yeah.
But that's how they should have drafted and played like in day one.
Right.
If CG had done that at the start and not at the end, they might have 4-0'd their bracket and there wouldn't have
Right.
been a difference, right? Then it would have
Yeah.
been just a tiebreaker between UL and MMM. But oh man.
Today. Are we on today? Is it
We're
today?
on today. We're on today
Oh
now.
my god.
Which
Royal Youth. Props to them
I
for
don't.
even getting on the rift.
Here's your participation trophy. Thanks for coming. But this is what today like I didn't write notes for day 4 because there was
Yeah.
nothing on day 4 that was like this is how you needed to play to deserve the right to be here.
Yeah.
You look at Damwon Gaming versus Royal. Lee Sin really didn't do anything in the game. A few back and forth fights, but at the end of the day, the entire setup was, well, Damwon's gonna 4-0, and then there's just gonna be this. There's not anything else to care about. There
Right.
wasn't anything that happened today that was like noteworthy.
Yeah. I think the only thing was Royal Youth coming out. I mean, everyone thought Flamingo was gonna pull it through, and then 0-3 Royal Youth. No way.
And then 2
No,
back to
they
back,
come in. Yeah.
back to back.
Back to back.
I can't understand the drafting from them on day 2, right? where is it? Right. The today's matches, right? Like I can't
Yeah.
understand. So you take an Irelia, Rek'Sai, Nico, Pike, and Kaisa into Damwon's Rise and LeBlanc.
Right.
Now, to be fair, Flamingo had a great early start. They were 4-0 at one point. They had done what they needed to do to kind of like excel. But like, it again comes down to, well, I've got a 4-0 lead. What do I do next? Farm more minions. That's gonna do it. I will sit in this lane until there's not a minion left. They come out every 30 seconds. That's the point. I'll be here forever. Like they didn't.
Yeah.
If you get the early advantage and you don't start forcing every objective to go your way, and then when you try, you get nearly aced. Like, I'm sorry, but what is the decision making here? I mean, that you gave up the Yuumi, you didn't ban it, and you let it sit on a Xayah.
Right.
So now Xayah doesn't even have to R to worry about anything because Yumi's R is going to already lock you in place. So then she's just going to throw out all her feathers and pull them right back, and you're stunned there for like 6 seconds. What do you do? This was like this draft was one of the worst drafts I think I'd ever seen. You hand Damwon Gaming. You want Yumi? Here. Oh, Yumi's been nerfed into the ground. No, they just made her slow only 20%. So granted, but it doesn't decay. Whereas before it got up to 80% slow, but it
Right.
decayed over 1 second. So by the end of the slow, you were already back at full movement speed. You're stuck at 20% the entire slow. Like you're not getting away from that. That's where that stuff comes into play. Like I just didn't understand the drafting there. And that Flutter vs. Royal, man, like you gave them Lee Sin and you took. I hate Rek'Sai as a jungler. Like I hate Rek'Sai in general because like there's never been a time in my life where I'm like Rek'Sai's a good choice. I'll pick Rek'Sai here.
Yeah.
Like every Rek'Sai goes warrior enchant. Every Rek'Sai builds the same 3 items and then falls off in the late game. It's no longer an important thing. It's we have a Rek'Sai. It's almost as useless as having a Master Yi on your team until 25 minutes in the game when Master Yi's got 3 items and just runs down and pentakills.
Yeah.
But at least Master Yi can do that. I mean, granted, you get some good CC, you can become untargetable to get an execute out, but who cares? Who cares if you can execute somebody when you're going up against a Fiora? I'm gonna press R. I'm gonna hit all 4 of your vitals, and
Right.
look, I just get to heal for infinitely. I
I think
mean,
that was my favorite. That was my favorite comment though that came from the sportscaster was, "Oh, this team read their patch notes because they had
Fiora's
a
buff got
Fiora.
buffed.
Yeah, they had a. Did they have Tia? Okay, that.
No,
They
not
had, a,
that game.
they had a couple of the champs that got buffed.
They had TF next game in the tiebreaker,
uh,
right? Yeah, they had Lee Sin, Gangplank, and TF with Xayah Rakan, and you drafted Camille, Nocturne, LeBlanc, Ashe, and Thresh. I'm sorry. What world do you take Thresh and Ashe in a
Ash.
bot lane
Yeah,
against a Xayah Rakan? Like
I was very surprised with the Ash pick.
the Ashe pick doesn't bother me because with Ashe you could just throw out W's and
Right, right,
harass,
slow.
right?
Yeah,
But you need instant lockdown on Rakan. Like, and if
like a Nautilus would have probably been better, maybe.
I would have rather seen a Leona pick here,
Oh yeah,
because like
yeah,
flat out, if you pick Leona in this matchup, right? Not only do you get the Ashe R, you get the Leona R and Nocturne
right.
R on somebody that, and they go nowhere but dead. They go to look at a gray screen, but you pick Thresh into a Rakan
Yep.
who wants you to pull him closer. That's like saying I'm pulling out a Blitzcrank. I'm gonna hook your Rakan into the team so he could just pop R, run through your team, taunt everybody, get them all to stack up, and knock them all up into the air.
Yeah.
This is why like I don't ever really look at group stages and go or play-ins and go, these teams are gonna do really well when they get to
Yeah.
the group stage.
I think if
They're gonna
anyone's
be the
gonna do
team to
well,
watch.
yeah, I think if anyone's gonna do well, it'll be Damwon, just because they've played SKT. You know, they've played all these bigger teams, so
That
they
and
kind of know.
they get the easiest of the two brackets, right?
Right.
They either get A and D, right?
Right.
Like let me go back and pull up the
Watch
group
them beat.
brackets.
Watch them beat TL.
Right, where's group brackets here for League of Legends? I spelled that wrong, but whatever. Group draw results here. This is what I was looking for, right? So, rather they get group D or B, right? So they
Yeah.
get either TL,
TL
uh,
or
E Club
what's the
Sports, or I don't even know what the I is, but like they can't go into Group
Invictus?
C.
Is it
Uh,
Invictus Gaming?
Maybe.
I think it might be. They were very lower. I don't know.
What
I
is
want to say it is
it?
them.
This was yeah, Invictus Gaming. Hey, so they get Invictus Gaming, right, from the LPL, which
Right.
it's China, but
The defending champs.
but it's but they're third seed.
Right. Who's no one is
Defending
thinking
champs,
they're gonna win.
third seed. Right? So like but like they get Invictus Gaming, TL, and what is it? AHQ Esports.
Oh man.
Right? They get the free in. So but that's if they get group D because like they can't get group C or A,
Right.
right? Because there's already
Like
SKT
Korean teams.
and
Yeah.
Griffin. You can't get into those two groups, so you get the two free seeds in group B or D.
Free love.
So like which really sucks for CG because
Okay.
they're gonna get A or D, A or B, or A or C rather. They're gonna get G2 Griffin. Oh
Right.
no, they can't get
Right.
Group A because Cloud9's there. So they're either going to SKT RNG
They're going
Fnatic
to SKT. They're going to
or they go against Phoenix, and you're just like, well, CG, it was a nice run at the tournament. Thanks for being
Yeah.
free kills.
Thanks for winning play. Thanks for winning play-ins.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
they're like the TSM this year of
Oh
Worlds.
my god.
Hey, we got the play in, guys, and we're out. Thanks for coming.
I
Now, I
guess
mean,
moving to worlds like now that play-ins are over and that starts what Tuesday? What no,
no,
no next
play-ins
week.
are not over yet.
Oh,
Play-ins
oh
has to
yeah,
do their final things. Groups don't start until
till next
the
Saturday.
weekend.
Yeah.
The weekend you're getting married. Thank you.
Right. But who are your favorite teams of the tournament? You know, pick a few.
I mean, like if I was to win it all, or just to,
Yeah. Or just you want to see do well. Yeah.
I want, and this is, I want EU or NA to come out on top, right?
NA, that's gonna be hard.
NA, I'll be honest. Like even though there's double if Core JJ Jensen on TL, like Cloud9 doesn't stand a
C9. I was
chance.
gonna.
They
Okay.
don't. They don't stand a chance. They're good against G2 and Griffin. Like
Right.
the only hope Cloud9 had was getting Group B, and because there's two free teams on there, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
But the you got the draw that like you got Griffin, which made SKT go to 5 games. You've got G2 who beat SKT at MSI. Like, I'm sorry, C9, you're not going anywhere. Like, unless you pull your heads out of your asses and play as if like it's the
Right.
like end of the world tomorrow, there's no way you get into quarterfinals. There's no way.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about Fnatic. I mean, you've got RNG and SKT, and Fnatic's like, oh, we got the easy thing.
No. Which is sad though, because I want to see. I wanted to see Reckless play really well.
I
And,
think, in my opinion, G2 has the greatest chance of winning
oh yeah.
Worlds
Yeah.
out of any of the teams, like
Of
us,
EU.
of EU
Yeah.
or NA, because I don't think Team Liquid can do it. Like, I definitely think they're gonna make it into quarterfinals, but I don't
Right.
think they're gonna see semifinals. It'll be a hard fought to get into semifinals Because most likely what's going to happen, they're going to get paired against SKT or RNG, and Uzi's just going to dominate them, or Faker's going to roll them over like they're children. Because the one thing that like has always proven true in Worlds, Korea's better than NA,
Right.
100%.
Oh, yeah. I think
So
one team I'm hoping plays well is Fun Plus Phoenix. I think that'll be interesting. If Doomb can make it work, I mean, this is he made it to Worlds this year, his first time, so yeah.
I I think they're definitely going to make it to quarters. They don't have an opposing team that I can even look at and go, yeah,
Which
they're going
group
to
are
give them a
they
run
in?
for the money.
Are they in B?
They're in Group B. So they get
Yeah.
Gambit Marines and
Oh god.
J Team.
Gigabyte Marine.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't want to sound mean there, but I mean,
But they
it's like,
got lucky. Anybody who didn't make it in group
I mean, we're talking about these are
A,
the Taiwan teams from Hong Kong, from the
yeah.
LMS. Like,
Anyone who didn't get an A and C, or is it A and C?
A and C.
Got lucky.
Yeah. So Team Liquid got lucky because they got
Right.
AHQ and Invictus Gaming. Like, I mean, Invictus Gaming obviously is not the team that was there last year. Like, you're coming in third seed.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally random how they pick it, but also at the same time,
But they're
except
still
for the different regions, yeah.
yeah, but they're still third seed coming from their area. They're not even the number one
Right.
seed from their area. Like
Yeah.
we're looking at like when you look at Invictus Gaming, they're coming with Fun Plus Phoenix and Royal Never Give Up. How do you win Worlds and then place third coming into Worlds?
Yeah. I would love RNG to win though. I mean,
Uzi deserves it, man.
Yeah.
Like there's not a person that has seen more final defeat screens than Uzi. Like
Or cried more tears.
yeah, like I want Uzi to just finally be like, this is my year, I've got it, trophy, yeah.
But there's no other ADC that probably compares to as good as he is. I mean, I can't think of. I mean, even Reckless, he'd probably be the next closest, but or who's on
And
G2?
they're like here with each other.
Right.
They're not, but like when you look at it with like Uzi and Reckless, right? The next closest ADC is here with Double Lift.
Yeah.
And it's not like a small gap. This is like we're talking drops here, right? I mean, luckily enough, like we might get lucky and see Tail versus RNG in quarterfinals because of the way it could play out.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who
I
knows?
think I think if there's gonna be any teams that like upset, I think Damon Gaming is gonna give TL a run for their money. I think they could maybe cause issues for them just because
Yeah,
they're
but I
young.
think
Young is unpredictable. I feel like.
I think Damon's gonna wind up getting drawn into Group B,
You think so?
and who's it?
Fun plus.
No, I think because I don't think CG is even gonna make it out. I think Unicorns Love are gonna roll them
Mm,
on the next games that they play, which is on Monday. I think Unicorns of Love is gonna wind up getting Group D, and that's why TL is gonna make it out because it's gonna be like TL and Invictus Gaming. I don't think AHQ is gonna make it out. Like they don't even have the same mid laner that they had that
right.
was really good. Like you give that guy Fizz and he's gonna walk through everyone. But I don't know. Like looking at it, I still want to see who comes out of the play-in stage and where they get placed because that'll kind of determine how well they could do. But I don't think anybody in play-ins is gonna make it to quarterfinals.
Yeah.
It'll be an upset from left field if that happens. But I don't think there's gonna be much to look at there at
Yeah.
all. That's my side of things on that.
I think Showmaker will have to carry, even after watching the play-ins. If they want to upset anybody, I think Showmaker is gonna have to play some of his best games.
And Canyon, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the
Canyon
two of
too.
them are gonna have to carry
Right.
the hard game because I mean they're Damwon's bot lane while they're impressive.
Right.
Like when you look at Reckless Uzi, Damwon
Yeah.
Gaming's like here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like you're talking about like you throw Uzi and Reckles kills. There's not gonna be a time that you're not gonna see Reckles pen a kill. Like, how many times have you seen him in Worlds get pentakills the second he's this far ahead?
Right.
It's a whole different world in that sense. I do feel like they got the bad end of the stick playing against SKT and RNG. Like, that would have been something I'd rather see in semifinals. Now,
Yeah.
Fnatic can upset. We could see them come out
Right.
as first seed in their group because I mean SKT is not the Titan that they used to be, but you never can count Faker out. You can
Right.
never be like Faker himself is out of this game.
And he didn't play last year, did he?
Faker
In
in
Worlds?
Worlds? No, they didn't. I didn't think they did.
Yeah.
They go to. I don't think they went to Worlds in 2018. I
Did
have
they
to
not
do
go
my
to Worlds?
research on that.
Who did they lose to? Or did they just opt
Um, Participants. So no, SKT did not go. They
out?
placed fourth. Invictus Gaming won. Fnatic took
Oh,
second
alright.
place. G2 Esports took third with Cloud9 taking fourth. That was the one time that Cloud9 had a chance to do anything. Cause what was it? Team, Team Liquid was 9th and 12th. Congratulations, Team Liquid. RNG took 6th place respectively. KT Rolster.
Yeah,
That was
you
the year
never
I thought
know.
KT Rolster was gonna win because KT Rolster was on fire.
You never know. Jensen could show up. You just never know. He'd have
Uh,
play out of his mind. And
well, you know,
Fenscairn. And Fenscairn, you know?
but here's the thing though. There's the what I call the X factor for Jensen, right? Oriana, because
Or
Jensen
Syndra. What
plays
about
a
Syndra?
I mean, what's that?
Syndra. What about Syndra?
I
Too.
don't. His Syndra has never impressed me, especially how many times that he like Faker Syndra is
Right.
scary.
Yeah.
Jensen's Syndra is about as good as Jensen's Cassiopeia. It's good to look at a
Oh
gray
yeah,
screen.
Cassie.
So, but Jensen on Oriana with the Oriana buffs, like if you want to beat Jensen out of Worlds, ban Oriana.
Banor.
Because I guarantee you, if they let Oriana through and they decide to play around Jensen's Oriana, and they decide to take like a Malphite top or a Scion top, something that has the engage to get to the back line, like I'd prefer to see it be a Malphite because Oriana with a Malphite ball on him,
Right.
or Malphite with an Oriana
Oh,
ball on him,
yeah.
that's Jensen's dream. I'm gonna pentakill. And if that happens, I would like to see double lift on Kaisa. Because the second that R goes off, Kaisa just R's into the back line and just obliterates everyone. That would be what I would like to see happen for TL to make it further in the tournament. But the downside of it is if they play it in groups, it'll never be seen again.
Yeah.
Even pull out a Rengar and throw a ball on him. Just shit. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, I think obviously SKT. I feel like with Faker, they're just a whole nother level. I don't know. You know, he's the greatest mid. I love watching him. If you're gonna learn how to play mid, don't watch him, but but watch him. I
He
mean, he's
trolls
good.
so hard on his
I know he
stream.
does.
If you want to learn how to play mid lane the
Yeah,
right way, don't watch Faker.
right.
Because
But also to the, I mean, Clid. I mean, their jungler. I mean, he pops off really early game, a lot of early game. So I
but that's
think if
the
they play an aggressive, fast game, and you know, and they're informed, Faker's informed, they're gonna take it all. I feel like I don't think anyone from EU could even. Yes, G2 won MS whatever, the MSI, but
yeah. I mean, they beat the
they
SKT
got
team.
a, but they got a lot of pressure on them now. You know that they won because everybody's like, oh, they're gonna win it all.
Yeah, what happens if
So
Fnatic upstates and SKT doesn't even make it out of
well,
groups?
yeah, you get that too. I
There's a
think that's hard for SKT too, because you got teams that have nothing to lose, you know, and then you got other teams who are supposed to be the ones to take it all, They got a lot of pressure on them. Like you're supposed to be good. You make a mistake, you're probably gonna hear those boos. Yeah, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, I honestly think EU has the worst pressure on their shoulders though because they're in EU. Like this
True.
is your hometown territory.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
teams are gonna be like praying for you to come out number one because you're in EU. I do think EU. This is the first year that EU's ever had a chance because how G2 plays more like Korea. Like they're like early game. Let's go. Let's play. Let's run.
Yeah. And honestly,
Whereas
yeah. And
like
if Caps can just maintain Faker, I think they have a good chance at, you know.
well, that's the challenge. But Caps doesn't have to worry about Faker until at least quarterfinals.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So
We're
it's
assuming they're making it
whereas
to them.
it's Fnatic that has to maintain Faker. Hi,
So are
Kitty.
they? They're playing each other in quarterfinals then, not even in the championship. It'll be quarterfinals.
What you think G2 versus Fnatic or SKT in quarters instead of
Is that what you
semi?
said?
No,
Oh.
no, because Fnatic has SKT in groups,
Uh-huh.
right? G2 has Griffin in groups. So G2 doesn't have to even worry about SKT until much later. Can I help you? You see this? You see this cat?
Katie.
So there's a lot that goes on with it. There's a lot that I can't wait to see. I'm kind of really disappointed though because like I thought I was gonna have a whole lot more to talk about from the playing stage because like these are the guys that have to play the best to show that they can compete against the top tier teams. And
But it was
aside from
boring.
Damwon Gaming, I'm like typical
Half
NA
of the games
games.
were boring. I
Yeah,
mean, just slow, 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 slow play. Just
like
very careful, very safe, slow, drawn out fights. I mean, no one wanted to jump the gun. It was always like, okay, go,
and
no,
that's
no.
and that's where the difference comes in between the top tier teams.
Oh yeah,
Because you look at G2 and what they've done, it's just like we got one kill and we're two CS ahead in every lane. Fight. Let's set up this gank bot lane. Let's set up this dive top. Let's lane swap this here. Let's do this now. It's straight now, 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 now. Whereas like you watch the playing stage and it was like we're ahead 5 kills. Let's wait 10 minutes before doing anything else. It's like and teams were like, "Oh, they're at Dragon. Let's not contest it and fight."
you're
It's
right.
like
Yeah,
this is the
I think
time where you should be fighting everything possible.
right. I think there were so many uncontested objectives in so many of the games. Like people just twittering around the objective while the other team's getting it. Okay, now let's run. Like we watched them get it. Okay, great.
Yes. It's like I was disappointed in it because like the last few years at play-ins, it was bloodbaths everywhere. Everybody was fighting their hardest,
Right.
and like slow methodical playing only works during splits. The second
Yeah.
you get into a final situation where you've got to play the gauntlet, there's no reason that you should be playing slow
Yeah.
methodical playing.
But
And
if you look at history though, like back in the day, not back in the day, but a few seasons ago, they were playing very methodically. Games were won in World with very few deaths. And it was like, okay, we're taking towers and then the game's over. You know, we took Barons, we took towers. And then like last year, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, then it started becoming like, okay, we want all the kills we can get. Like, let's get kills. And now I feel like this year with just play-ins, like, okay, they're going back to the methodical, let's get towers. Like as long as we have more gold, we're gonna win. You know?
which I'm gonna need to take a nap after this. I've only
There,
had 3 hours
that's
of
the
sleep because I stayed up playing League too much. But
that's the perfect description though.
yeah, that's
Boring.
like this is why like I don't watch spring and summer split. I don't watch a lot of like the stuff that goes on. Like obviously this year coming up in 2020, I'm gonna watch it a little bit more because teams are getting back to the playstyle of like, you know what, killing people gives me my items faster and makes the game pace go faster. It's like I don't watch football because when you get to the fourth quarter, the team ahead just takes a knee. and they just
Right.
drag the clock out. Like I'm not watching this football game for somebody to take a knee every 8 seconds. Like I want to see bloodbaths happen. I want to see the team that goes and says, "All right, we're diving at level 2 onto this person," and then as soon as they dive, they're like, "Great, slaughter everyone."
Right.
That's what I miss in League of Legends. It's like, and that's unfortunately, it's like the coaches. Like this is when head coaches started coming in that you realize like everything went to a slow, methodical. Like remember, you don't have to kill anybody to win the game. All you have to do is outplay the towers and outplay this. And it made it worse when they introduced turret plates at first because it was like, hey, there's extra gold if you just slow chunk the tower. What? So like, nah, I've got
Oh
my
man.
opinions on them, and I mean, I'm nowhere near the top
Yeah.
tier caliber player to be at Worlds, but I would
Who
have
would you
rather seen
say? Who would you say is the best player in every position across the world?
across the world
Okay, start with top. Well, yeah. I mean, well, with these teams that are here.
at Worlds. I don't even
Yeah.
know half the top laners' names. Uh,
Well, you know Hooney, but I wouldn't say he's the best.
the year he was on SKT, they didn't win Worlds.
Right.
Not that like the other top laners that didn't win
So he went
SKT
to.
Worlds.
So he went to North America.
Well, I mean, he started EU, went NA, went to SKT, back to NA. I mean, it's like, I mean,
Does
Hooney's
it
a really
matter?
good player, but
Like, is there like, are there, um, does it matter which team you play for? You can play for whoever you want to, like any region you want. Like, like
as
how
long as you
with
can get a visa
soccer.
to live in that country.
Oh, okay, so it is like that.
Yeah,
Since
like you
like
can't,
citizenship.
like, because that was one of the big problems that NA had with a couple of their import players. Their
Mm.
visas wouldn't clear in time for the start, so they had to use sub players beforehand. And it's like when these guys showed up 3 or 4 weeks into the split, it's like these guys aren't even good. Why are they here? Like what was it? Oh,
I think we're probably the ones that have the most like
imports.
imported play. Yeah, I would say.
Which, like, and I don't want to take too much time talking about it because we're already at an hour and 12 minutes. But like, I've touched on this before with my thought process on importing players. Stop. You're not getting the tier caliber player that was over here. Like oh, let's pick up Piglet from SKT. He just won Worlds. What did he do since? It's like you're talking about a player that was only as good as the rest of his team. And it's like that was my big problem when TSM picked up Zven and Mithy. Like they
Yeah.
suck. I mean they're better than me, but they suck.
For a double list? No.
Yeah, you trade out the number one ADC in America for Zen and Mithy
Yeah.
from Europe because they look so good. You know what you haven't done since you picked them up? Won a split.
One.
And that's my thought process behind it. It's like you're valuing other people's trash in a
Yeah.
sense, right? Why did Zen and Mithy, who are on like the top tier team, so easily get traded to another team somewhere
Yeah.
else? Now, granted, I understand that like Europe doesn't pay anywhere near what NA pays its players, but at the same
Um,
time, why would like you if
I would say, why would Faker ever, go to one of those
yeah,
teams?
like why in the world like there's a reason Faker's always been on SKT. Like
Right.
look at any team anywhere ever. How many teams have switched out their mid laners? SKT subbed a mid laner in with what was his name? I can't think of his name, but they subbed in
Yeah.
somebody. He played a lot of Azir. SKT mid laner that is not Faker. It was like what was his name?
Does he even have a sub?
He had one. Because like the year that they won it, the guy played. That's why Azir has an SKT skin.
Uh,
Uh, I can't think of it. And who? If anybody that watches this reads or anybody comments on this afterwards, they're gonna be like, "Oh, it was this man." I could see his name. Easy Hoon. Easy Hoon. They had Easy Hoon as a sub for Faker when Faker was having a hard time dealing with the bot lane that he had at the time. But
Wow.
it's fucking Faker, man. You should be playing around Faker anyway.
Right.
So if I had to go with a top laner, this best top laner, in my opinion, I'd probably take the guy on G2.
On G2.
On G2.
I
And
remember
and the
that.
reason for this, like, it's very hard to pick a top laner that isn't set on an island and doomed to fail because the team
Yeah.
doesn't play around a top laner. Right?
What about
So
the Shy
the shot.
on Invictus game? I think.
I never
He
found the
played
shy
so
to be
good
impressive.
last year, though.
I mean, when you look at the teams that were in Worlds last year,
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
look at
SKT. Yeah, SKT was in there.
I don't think the shy is that great of a top laner. I mean, like, it
Right.
would literally come down to Griffin's top laner, SKT's top
Mhm.
laner, and G2. Like, I don't even think Whippo, who's on Fnatic, is a good fucking top laner. Like, he's like, oh, I'm so good.
What about Impact?
He was good in 2013, 2014
I know
maybe.
he was like the big stuff back then. I
Yeah,
remember.
he wasn't. He
What
was a
about Jungler?
jungler. So obviously, there's Clid, there's
Right.
Yankos, there's Broxa. Uh, like,
What about Tarzan
who does
on
Tarzan
Griffin?
play it for?
On Griffin. Griffin.
On Griffin?
Yeah.
I
Doesn't
mean,
he?
if
Does
he
he
was that
stream?
good, he wouldn't he have beaten SKT?
Does he stream?
I don't know.
What
But if
he
he was that
streams?
good, wouldn't he have beaten SKT? Just saying.
Well, he can't beat Clit and Faker.
As- yeah, so I would have to it'd be between those three. I couldn't say which one's the best out of like
Broxa is Fnatic. Right?
Brox's Fnatic, Yankos is G2,
Yankos is G2.
and SKT's Clid.
Yeah.
The hard part of it, the reason why I look at these guys is because they can adapt very well to the meta. They can
Mm.
play pretty much anything, and there's times where you'll watch the like Tarzan and the other junglers and everything else. They go back to the comfort picks, even though they're not in the meta and they're not what's winning games. And it's like, I mean, the downside of it is anybody can play Sejuani. Sejuani doesn't require a high skill
Right.
cap, doesn't require a high anything. Like, you just run in, you charge, you flash, you hope for the best. Like she does, like her only skill shot is R, and it's like if you knock the target up, you're 100% gonna hit that 100%
Mm-hmm.
of the time. Now, if you're like Smithy, who likes to whiff it from downtown,
Right.
there's there's just not a whole lot. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
because like now we're kind of getting back into the Elise, the Lee Sins, and things like that in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a lot easier to look at the top caliber junglers. Like his Brox's
Their
Lee Sin is
skill.
just
Yeah.
insane.
And they're skill champs. I mean,
Yeah, they
you
require
got to
skill.
know how to
They
play at least. Yeah.
yeah, like you've got to be on point of getting the ward, the place your ward jump and then flash R
Yeah.
or whatever it is. Like you've got
I
to be on
forget
point
what
of that.
game it was in Plains, but there was a really bad cue from the Lee Sin. I don't remember which game it was,
Like
but
he
I think he
missed
was
him by
going
a
for some.
mile.
Yeah, I was just like, what? I felt like he was going for the other person who was like kind of over here, but there was like someone right in front of him. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, like he literally the guy like if he had just aimed where the person was walking, he would have hit him and killed him, but
Right,
instead the guy got away.
right between them.
That's the worst thing that can happen though as a Lee Sin player, right? Like you miss your Q and then
Yeah,
you're
everybody's like,
flamed
oh,
by
you're
everyone.
bad.
You can't land Qs.
You have no aim. You have no prediction.
Yeah, like I mean There's sometimes though, like, and I'll say this, like, it's like there's sometimes I really want to like scream at you when we're playing because you're like your prediction of this where they were, not where they're gonna be, and I'm like, why did you
That's
throw that
right.
that way?
Because they're gonna go back. Because they're predicting that I'm gonna predict that they're gonna go that way.
You're thinking too far into
I'm
somebody
predicting
panicking.
that they're gonna go
Because 9 times out of 10, the reason why I land my skill shots is because I'm not predicting that they're thinking that I'm gonna predict them.
back.
They're just it's just
I'm
like
2
they're
steps ahead.
panicking. I'll say you're getting better though at it. You're getting better
At
at it.
jungle, I could not play like a jungle 2 years
But so mid laners obviously Faker.
ago.
I can't say Caps because Caps is inconsistent at
I
best.
think Showmaker. I
Showmaker's
mean,
up there, but
with his LeBlanc or
but
Rise.
can Showmaker beat Faker?
No. I mean, no. But they're in the LCK, right? They're both in the LCK.
Yes.
So,
So if Showmaker was that good, he would be
but
first seed.
he's good.
Well, I mean, that's
I wouldn't say
fair
he's
because,
better than Faker. He's just good.
but that's like saying
Second place.
he's he'd be third place because Griffin's mid laner.
Oh, Trophy.
He's took second seed.
Okay.
Just saying. Uh, yeah,
What
I
about
can't.
bots?
So AD carry obviously
Reckless.
Reckless and Uzi double lift
Uzi,
slightly below them. Support
Perks.
wise though,
Perks. Maybe.
uh, I haven't seen enough G2 games. Like I haven't gone back and watched them to see how good Parks really is because he used to be a mid laner
Oh.
and now he's an AD carry, which we all know how well that worked out for Expeke.
Yeah, Do and B, right?
Hmm?
Do and B. Is he Butler?
I think so.
Yeah, that's what it says.
But like in like saying who's the best out of them, I would have to say Uzi.
Reckless. Oh, Uzi. Reckless
Show
second.
me a better ADC than Uzi. As I said, Reckles is just like slightly.
I'm a cutie pie.
Yeah, that's why he's won how many splits?
Every Twitch stream I've watched.
I mean, yeah, he's great in solo queue, but like,
He's
I mean,
entertaining, okay?
yeah, he's definitely entertaining. But he's definitely not a number one ADC in the world.
His long hair is what I love most.
As for support though, Core JJ. I can't remember at the time. I'm way too tired to be picking things like this because now I can't remember the names of SKT's support.
SKT support. Ooh.
Yeah, see, like you can't even remember. It's like
I think
obviously he's
Hillisign's
good.
good
He's number
though
one.
for Fnatic.
But Fnatic. Who do they
Yeah,
have?
Hillsign.
Yeah, he's
Pretty decent.
just wake me up in
Yeah.
20 minutes. Just wake me up in 20 minutes. That's all I need is a 20-minute power nap. But
Or Mickey from G2. Mike, what is it?
Mickey, yeah,
Yeah.
dog.
Oh.
All right, so we're at an hour and 23 minutes. Let's wrap up. We'll obviously next week we will cover what we've seen of play or of group stage along with the ending. I honestly I would only like to spend like 5 or 10 minutes on who makes it in because
Mm-hmm.
picking the worst of the worst to go in doesn't make a difference. I gotta get a new chair because this squeaking is gonna drive me nuts in my videos. But
Driving me nuts.
every day, every day.
Oh, I don't hear it every day.
But yeah, so I think we'll cover a lot of the actual group plays so far because we will see at least two or 3 days of them.
They start on Saturday. We'll see
Saturday,
one
Sunday.
day.
So, oh, that's right. We probably won't have a. We were not gonna have a vlogcast next week
Okay.
because like you're getting married the day we'd be filming.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, we won't.
so we'll likely probably try and do it a Monday night if possible. Well, no. How long are you gonna? You're gonna be gone for a week and a half, right?
Uh-huh. I'll be back on. No, I'll be back on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Mhm.
Back
Which
to
would be
work
good
or
because
just
then
back?
we can. Yeah, back to work and back.
Okay, so then on
What?
Tuesday night we'll try and record.
Because that would be done with groups. No. No,
I think
because
groups is
every
too.
day.
I think groups will be at the point of knockout of like who's taking first and second seed.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
and Tuesday. So it'll be the groups. It'll be the group plays.
Wait.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That'll be the finish of group plays. So it actually works out.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. No, because there's still 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Oh.
So we will have on Tuesday we will have the first 4 days done.
Right. That's not it. Oh.
No, there's 17, 18, and 19, and 20.
Oh, because they do best of.
No, they do best of one series on every one of these.
So one game.
Yes, but they have to play everybody twice.
So they only play 3 games a day.
No, there would be a fourth game, but the fourth one's not set yet because we don't have
Yeah.
the other team, so we only get
Why
to
do
see
they
the
give
first
so
one.
much time in between? 8, 10, 12? Do they expect the games to go that long?
No, I think the actual final game is going to be at 12,
Oh, just
but
with. Oh, okay.
but because there's this, like it should be like 8, 9, or 8, 9, 10, 11. Amber
Amber
Alert
Alert.
going out, Newberry, South Carolina, cool. So we won't know what the fourth game, but there should be 4 games each one of those days.
Gotcha.
But I think they have to play everybody twice, so
Hey, we
like,
can watch SKT and Fnatic
what day do they play?
Saturday at 8.
Uh,
First game on.
oh yeah, before your wedding. Yeah.
Why are they playing? Man, that's rough.
Where are they?
I
Oh,
guess the only other option they have. Who else is in there? Oh, RNG. Never mind.
RNG. Which RNG is probably going to be the fourth game versus whoever they get drawn in with.
Right.
But
Fun.
we'll cover all that next week when we record. So that won't be up till Tuesday the following week.
Oh, they don't go by groups. They just
Yeah,
they
they
don't
go
go
by
by
groups.
groups.
If they do.
Like all the same group on one day.
No,
No,
that's
they
not
don't.
until the 17th.
Yeah, they play one team, 2 teams from each group play on that day. That's what it looks like. So it wouldn't be RNG. It would be somebody else.
Yeah, on the 13th. RNG plays SK
Yeah.
Telecom.
Yeah.
But when we get to the 17th and 18th, like on the 19th, it's Royal versus SKT, SKT versus Fnatic, Royal versus Fnatic. So
Mm.
that's where they play everybody, or everybody has to play
Yeah.
twice. So I think what they're doing is because Fnatic has to play SK Telecom twice, they're doing the first game this day and then giving them a week to go before they play them again,
Yeah.
or not a week, but like 4 days before they play them again.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of games to cover. I mean, we have 16
Yay.
teams playing 4 games each. So anyway, that's gonna be it for our vlogcast this week. I will probably upload this later tonight because I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm tired.
Take a nap, boy.
I gotta set an alarm though because I have to call in and order a pizza to be picked up by like 7:15. So let me
Can't you
set that
order it ahead
alarm.
of time?
Huh?
Can't you
I don't
order it
know. I
ahead?
don't know. I need an
Go
alarm though
to
before I forget.
bed. Go to bed.
What am I get? Let's set it for like 6 o'clock. Get 4 more hours of sleep.
4 hours. Dang.
4 more hours.
You're gonna be up all night. You're gonna be up all night.
Well, the good news is I don't have to be up
Right. Tomorrow.
at any particular time on Sunday. I can do whatever. I gotta do laundry tomorrow, but other than that, be easy. All right,
Alright.
we're calling it there. Hour
Yep.
and 30 minutes.